My feelings for you. Love. My feelings for you.
So, thank you for joining us. We're on pretty late tonight. For those of you who are just starting or just signing on, go ahead and start your watch parties on Facebook. Are we live on YouTube?
Okay.
Not YouTube tonight?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
For those of you on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe. You guys, thank you for joining us. Another episode of the Bomb Mom Chronicles. We have another, Miss Ashley, you guys have met her already. She is one of our makeup artists. She also has several of her own businesses. She's an entrepreneur. She's joining us again tonight during our discussion, which we will be talking about bad habits. What about bad habits, you ask? Bad habits in kids. What about bad habits? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so this is a really touchy topic, you guys, because I'm very specific and I'm very specific. I'm very specific and I'm very for lack of a better word, anal. I mean, when it comes to dealing with my child, like I'm very I want things done the way I want them done. And I expect people to respect that as his mother. And as long as it's doing right by him and his well-being, I mean, I don't see why anybody else would be against what I want to do, period. Unless it's his father. I'm very fair with his father. We compromise a lot. We come to agreements a lot. And we have talks about it. But he pretty much respects a lot of the things that I want to do as far as my wishes with my child. For the most part, he does do well with that. So I don't have too much of a problem with that. But before we even get to that part, we're talking about these bad habits that kids pick up from other kids. So this is new for me, ladies, because my son just started preschool this year. And you ladies have, this school year, so it's last August. So he just started this school year in August, and it's okay. And he is in pre-K, and there's been a lot that I had to bend on that kind of upset me, and I just had to kind of all right, he's in school, he's safe, I'm getting used to it, he can talk, he can tell me this, he can tell me that. There's still a little couple things that I have a little issues with, but I can't do nothing about it. So, what do you ladies think about kids? I'll tell my stories in a little bit, but I want to let you guys go ahead and speak as well. So what do you ladies think as it pertains to kids picking up bad habits from other kids?
Well, for one, with me.
What do you ladies?
Oh,
Sorry.
with me, you never know, how you raise your child. Somebody else may not be raising their child that way. What they listen to, what they see, all of that. It plays a big part because just like with Vontae, my oldest, he was going to school. They got out of school, and a little boy got off the school bus. He was just cursing, saying all kind of stuff. And I told him, if I ever hear you say anything that you're not supposed to be saying, it's gonna be me and you.
Right. Period.
Because some kids try to fit in, so they think, if I do this, then everything will be cool. But at the end of the day. Look,
you gotta come answer to me.
Some of those little kids, I really be wanting to say something to them, but in today's world, you can't really say nothing to nobody else's child without, you said something to my child, or I want.
And then it all boils down to the parent too. It's kind of you almost feel bad because the kid should know better and be taught better by the parent. The parent probably don't got no common sense. You know what I mean? And I agree with that. There's a lot of kids, especially him going to school, he's still little, pre-K age, so it's not really too much bad things that he's into or learning or picking up. But I think that things besides bad habits, he gets sick more often because of, I have to make sure I'm giving his probiotics and things like that because of just being around a group of kids. There's whininess and very cranky and crying and being grouchy or being in certain moods. And I noticed that he was very excited. His first couple days of school was very excited. He was ready to go. He didn't cry. He had no problem. He didn't even look back to see if me and his dad was still in the classroom, okay? He was really excited. So he had been going normally. He was excited to go to school and things like that. He didn't have no issues. And then there were a couple of other kids that I kept seeing in the mornings crying for their parents, like crying, and they had to leave, and the teacher had to settle them down. And JJ started doing that, and I'm like, no. I know, there was some personal things between me and his dad that might have affected him because we weren't together, but there was no reason for him to have been crying as long as he was for those. It was like a 2-week span that he was just straight crying in the morning and clingy. Even with anybody, with me, he was just crying.
Yeah, he was.
And I think he was picking it up from other kids. And I was just like, well, baby, it's okay. You didn't cry before. Why are you crying now? Like, you don't. Yeah. I try to teach my son to be a leader, not a follower. You know what I mean? And he's still too little to kind of understand that. He's only 4. But things like that are my issues right now because he's on a smaller scale. But what about, and I know CJ, he's not in school yet, but I know there could be other situations that him being around other kids.
Well, he is the tiniest one out of all his cousins.
Yeah.
So he does pick up a lot of stuff, saying stuff. But to me, depending on the habit, I'm not really pressed on him picking up bad habits because kids pick up bad habits. It's going to be their whole entire life. All until they're out of your home. They're going to be picking up stuff from their other friends. And whatever. As long as it doesn't affect his character and his morals and his respect for me and his father and his family, then we're good.
And all we can do as parents is just teach them right. Right.
If I see it's going to be a problem.
Right.
So, yeah. That's how I feel about it. I'm not really pressed about the habit thing.
She pick up stuff from YouTube also.
Yeah.
That's another thing. That's a big issue. That's why, like, with the YouTube thing, I try to monitor, like, JJ's is very, like, his iPad that he has, I have the YouTube Kids, and then I have it monitored. So certain things require, like, it'll ask the age or permission or things like that. Certain videos, or when he tries to download certain games, it'll notify me and ask permission, things like that. So I try my best to monitor that as close as possible. They do pick up things from YouTube. Luckily, so far, like, the little ones, they don't really know how to type and spell things and say certain things, so they can't look up too much, and they don't know a lot about much anyway. But the older kids, I know that you have to be very careful. Kemi, what about you? With your kids are older, so as it pertains to school and, like, YouTube and things, what's going on with that? She looked like where do we start? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I done been in a situation where my kids were around other kids. I'm not gonna get too much into it because it wasn't just random kids. It was some kids that they knew, and they were doing some stuff that they shouldn't have been doing that the kids picked up, and I didn't really agree with. And I just had to tell them you're not supposed to do that. You don't
and explain it to them.
Yeah, I had to explain it to them, like, you don't do that because that's them or whatever. So that was a hard part because I'm like, what is the parent doing that's making them do that? They're not watching them, not watching to see what they're watching or if their children's in the room when they're doing something. So I just had to let them know, like, that's not a good thing to do. You're not supposed to do that. And talk to them about it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I agree with that too, because now that JJ, before when he was younger, a lot of the times it was okay to, like, give someone a kiss in front of him or things like that, or hug or lay on someone or something like that. But now that he's getting older, I need to make sure that I'm mindful of that as well. Yeah. Especially because me and his father are separated, and I don't want him being exposed to anything. Hey, correct. Baby. I don't want him to be exposed to anything that he shouldn't be, or trying to do anything that he doesn't understand, So before we get back to the topic, I want to go ahead and shout out. I think we have Miss Gwendolyn. Does anybody have the comments up for the Facebook Live?
Say it again.
Yeah. The comments?
I
can't even talk. The comments up for the Facebook Live. I just want to welcome everybody into the chat.
Hold on 1 second.
So I've seen Gwendolyn. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and start your watch parties. For those of you over on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel. You can tune in to watch our episodes every Friday. The times do vary. It'll be anywhere between 8 to 10 p.m. And we'll be going live on Facebook and YouTube every Friday with a new episode of Bomb Moms. Thank you for joining us. If you're just starting, we're talking about...
Grayson said good evening. Did you say him already?
I can't see anybody. That's why I asked you to tell me.
Oh, yeah, Grayson. said hello, good evening. So that's the only person we have. Hello.
Grayson.
I think it's Grayson. Grayson, Holly.
Thank you for joining us. There are a couple of other viewers.
Yeah,
that
we
I'm
can't
not
really
able to
see.
Sorry for not shouting you guys out, but thank you for joining us today. On this episode, we're talking about bad habits as it pertains to our children, and then picking it up from other children from school, or what have you. So. We were just sharing some of our own stories with our own kids because our kids are still pretty little. I have a son in pre-K. Her son is 3. He'll be in pre-K next year. And then she has a 7-year-old and an 11-year-old. And then she has her kids. You want to name your ages? I don't want to mess it up.
Hold on, because I have to. Okay, 5, 6, 7, and 11.
There we go.
Yeah.
So she has a good span of different age categories, so I'm sure she knows or has gone through a couple more experiences than we have. But we were just sharing our own personal stories about our kids and how they've been affected by some of the bad habits that they might see, pick up, and not only with school or other kids, but also things like YouTube and social media, which is a big influence on today's generations and young kids as well. So I try my best to monitor that, is what I was sharing on my behalf. Although I think that for this generation, we are a little more open to social media, because growing up, I cannot remember just like constantly. As a teenager, it started, but their ages, 4-year-olds, like I just can't remember constantly wanting to, yes,
I need to fix my account and he's 3.
Okay, I need to fix my account. Can we download this game? I'm trying to build a wall on Fortnite. Somebody. Fortblocks. I'm trying to build something on Roblox, on Fortnite, all of that. They got all the games and they know. Friday nights at Freddy. Yeah, that's a scary game. By the way, I do not condone that. So his older cousin, who's much older than him, plays that, but he's too little for that. But the games can get really iffy too. So you have to also monitor that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because on Fortnite, boy, they be cursing. I'm like, where's their parents at?
And see, it's live on Fortnite. They get
Fortnite live.
right.
Yeah.
So they get live, and then the other kids. Yeah, GTA was bad. All of that. Yeah. They have, these are adult games, but the parents are buying the kids these games. You have to be a certain age or be okay with a certain age before you allow that.
To grown men, like.
Right.
Listen, and that scares me. That's dangerous because.
You never know who you'll talk to.
Right.
I'll hear Charles every now and then be like, hey little bro.
Right.
Right. Why you still up? It's 11 o'clock.
Right. And because these are adult games, it's kind of. Because these are adult games, it's kind of like, okay, you can't really look. You don't know what to do. You let your older child play it, and then the little one's gonna get on it. So I'm trying to watch him. I'm like, what are you on there doing? What's going on? Who's talking? I'm like trying to monitor him with it because, he cries to play it. But I try my best to keep that in line because I don't like to allow him into that that whole thing. It gets really crazy.
Very violent.
Very. But I want to take a break to go ahead and say hello to some of the people who are on our Facebook Live. Autumn, thank you for watching us. Hey, Edge. I can't really see any of the viewers. Can somebody?
Yeah, I can't really see the viewers either.
So unfortunately, we're having a problem with being able to view our comments and our viewers in the Facebook Live. But thank you.
Shout out to the camera on top.
Shut. Don't. But thank you guys for viewing and watching our show tonight. Go ahead and start your watch parties. YouTubers, please hit the like and subscribe button, you guys. Okay, let's do it. YouTubers, please hit the like and subscribe. You guys, thank you for joining us, watching our show every Friday between 8 and 10 p.m. We go live on Facebook and YouTube. Those of you on Facebook, start those watch parties. We're just here talking, just to reiterate the topic about bad habits that our kids pick up from other kids, from school, social media, and other things like
there goes a bad habit.
Oh my gosh.
Other things like video games and what have you. So that was just what we were talking about. So now that we've discussed that, we can move on. Go ahead and move on to the second part of the topic.
What, adult bad habits?
Listen, don't.
That can be a topic now.
All right. So, what are some adult? What are some adult bad
That
habits?
we
Come
can't
on.
shake. Okay.
Okay, come
Okay,
on.
one really bad habit that I have as an adult is my tone, or yes.
Your tone.
my tone.
It's your tone.
I have a tone deficiency, and I was diagnosed with that last month. Thank you. What's yours?
My
either.
bad habit, my adult bad habit, is being too passive and not knowing how to say no and putting myself first. I think I have an issue with that.
You do?
I can honestly say that I can see that about myself. It's really hard for me to like be like, no, it's me time. No, I have to do this. No, I can't do it today.
That's true.
It's hard.
Yeah.
That's my issue. Too.
It's
Mine
hard for
too.
me to do that, and I don't know why. Like I
Kimmy, really?
I don't even know how to explain it.
Wait.
What? I missed it. Hello? What?
Wait. What?
Somebody tell me.
She said, "Kimmy, really?"
Kimmy said, me too. I said, Kimmy.
No, not Kimmy.
Kimmy would say
No,
real fast, no, not today. I
It's
can't-
not
no,
me
I'm
too,
sorry. I
Kimmy.
don't feel
No,
like-
Kimmy, this is not the me too for her.
Look.
Me too.
It's not the me too. Look, listen. I get people telling me that same thing, and I can see that about myself. Man, I'll like, for lack of better words, I'll say something like, I don't know, I'm nice.
She was
I'll
literally
be like,
saying
I
that.
don't know, I'm nice, I can't help it. I don't know, I really can't explain to you guys why. I'm sorry,
Like, I would literally,
I really can't
like,
explain
she
it to
would
you
tell me what
guys.
somebody said to her, and I'm like, okay, say this. And she's like, no, I can't. That's, I'm like,
Yeah,
why?
she's too nice when it comes to that.
I don't know.
She won't hurt somebody's feelings even if they just hurt her feelings.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I'm not like that. Then not really too, cause no.
Sorry, guys. My goofy little kid over here is over here dancing. I'm gonna put him in the camera so that everybody see you dancing. Go ahead. Go ahead and tell your bad
Yeah,
habit.
what's yours,
Kimmy.
Kevin?
I wanna know.
My bad habit is being too nice to not to people, but to people that I like, and letting them get away with certain stuff. That's my bad habit, and I shouldn't do it, but I
Letting
do.
Get away, like what? In
Like-
relationship wise,
Yeah, relationship wise, or just
dealing with somebody.
Yeah, dealing with somebody. That's my bad habit. I let them get away with a lot, and I still go back, and I shouldn't.
Yeah,
Cause
that
y'all
all
be
the-
telling, don't go back, don't go back.
Yeah, but at least, Kimmy, she was like, yep, I said this to him.
But yeah, you don't care.
Yeah, I don't care to a certain extent.
So I told him.
I don't.
That's exactly. I'm telling you guys.
Yep, told him just like
So
That falls in line with me. Like that's falls in line with my problem of not being able to say no. I'm too passive, like a little too
JJ,
forgiving, a little
stop.
too Don't do that. A little too forgiving and things like that. So it rolls over into my love life too.
Mhm.
And you're not argumentative either. So
I'm not a confrontational or argumentative person. Like I'd much rather ignore the crap out of somebody and just silently separate myself. Like I'm not the type to put it out there to be like, "F you, you did this, you did that to me. I don't give a F." Like I'm not like I'm just.
sometimes I do that, and I still go back. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm sorry. And I still roll back. Move out your whole life.
Yeah, I do.
And still come back.
What about you, Ash? My problem that I have is helping too much. Like
Yeah.
I'm always helping somebody. But
That is true.
when I turn around, if I need something, I
Nobody.
can't go to those same people
Yeah.
that's coming to me.
See?
So that's my issue. Like I help.
Stop.
But then when it's my turn, or if I need somebody,
Nobody's there to look out for you the way
and
that
then,
you
but
would.
then again too, I don't really like asking nobody for that. So I
A feeling for you. Love, love.